What if you could take the best aspects of every legendary guitarist and combine them into one ultimate player? Imagine someone with the speed of Yngwie Malmsteen, with the feel of David Gilmour. In this video, I'm going to build the perfect guitarist, piece by piece, technique by technique, pulling from the greatest players in history to create the ultimate Frankenstein of guitar mastery. For the sake of not using Jimi Hendrix for everything, guitars can only be used once. When it comes to vibrato, it's a technique that is hard to notice or really stand out. It's also hard to point out a guitarist that is known for their vibrato, as it kind of blends into the rest of their playing, and is essentially just an element of phrasing. While most times subtle, the right vibrato can enhance a solo and give it depth. B.B. King is the perfect example of this, as he's not known for his speed or diverse phrasing. Rather, his vibrato adds depth and makes his notes in his solo sound more expressive and alive. He's one of the few guitar players that you hear his vibrato and you immediately know it's him. So for vibrato, I would take B.B. King. A key element of being a good guitar player is being a good performer, and good showmanship is the cornerstone of being a good performer. Lots of players come to mind here, as so many have interesting signature stage tricks, flashy outfits, or outright bizarre behavior. But the one that stands out consistently as a show-stopping performer is Prince. Prince can do it all on stage. His While My Guitar Gently Weeps solo at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a good example of him busting out all the stage tricks. Same with the Super Bowl. He is just wildly entertaining to watch play the guitar. If you turn the sound off on a Prince guitar solo, you'd still be entertained. That's why Prince decidedly grabs this spot on the list. Bending is perhaps the most expressive technique a guitarist can use, and when done right, it can make a single note hit harder than a flurry of fast runs. It separates just playing the right notes and what truly makes them sing. While many great guitarists have exceptional bending technique, few match the emotional weight and precision of Gary Moore. Moore's bends are instantly recognizable, controlled, wide, and full of raw emotion. His playing on Parisian walkways is one of the best examples of his masterful bending. He doesn't just hit a note, he lets it soar, pushing the string just far enough out to squeeze every last bit of emotion out of it. Unlike some players who rush through bends or don't quite hit the pitch, Gary Moore uses it as an expressive tool in his playing, and his legendary phrasing depends on it. This is why, when it comes to bending, Gary Moore is the clear choice. Songwriting is a hard one to place, as there are so many excellent songwriting guitarists. I decided to give the nod to John Mayer here, because he has written many hits across a few different genres like pop, folk, funk, blues, and rock. After all, this is what made him famous as a pop artist and as a guitarist, which is a very interesting synergy. He was able to integrate guitar and pop music enough to be recognized by the guitar community, which says more about his guitar songwriting than I ever could. Phrasing might actually be the most important element of guitar playing. It's the language of guitar, and it is how you communicate with the instrument. Eric Clapton has been able to use a guitar as a voice like few others. Even though he doesn't play the fastest or most technically sound, there's a reason we all listen to Eric Clapton's guitar playing, and there's a reason that everyone listens to Eric Clapton's guitar playing, because he plays in a way that is easy to listen to and is interesting and tells a story. So the choice here is clear: Clapton all the way. Versatility in guitar playing is about being able to adapt seamlessly across multiple genres, techniques, and tones without losing musicality or feel. While many great guitarists have dabbled in different styles, few can claim the true mastery across the board like Guthrie Govan. Govan is a guitarist's guitarist. His ability to transition effortlessly from jazz fusion to shred, from bluesy phrasing to complex rock arrangements, makes him one of the most well-rounded players of all time. Whether it's his work with the Aristocrats, his solo material, or his session work, Govan brings a level of technical brilliance and musical depth that is nearly unmatched. Unlike many guitarists who excel in one or two specific areas, Govan's playing seems limitless. If there's one guitarist who represents the pinnacle of versatility, it's Guthrie Govan. He is the ultimate chameleon on the guitar, and no matter the style or the challenge, he delivers with jaw-dropping precision and feel. Speed in guitar playing is often associated with technical prowess, precision, and sheer intensity. While many guitarists have made a name for themselves on their ability to play fast, no one embodies the concept of speed quite like Yngwie Malmsteen. Malmsteen didn't just play fast, he revolutionized speed in guitar playing, blending classical influences with blistering alternate picking, sweep picking, and legato runs. He pioneered the neoclassical shred style that became a defining sound in the 80s. His playing is not just about playing a million notes a second. It's about executing them with precision, clarity, and dramatic flair. He didn't just popularize playing fast, he popularized playing fast as an art form, with feel. Great rhythm playing is the foundation of a great guitarist, and no one embodies that foundation better than Malcolm Young. As the driving force behind AC/DC, his playing was all about precision, power, and groove. His impeccable sense of timing made every riff sound bigger than they were on paper. He didn't need complex chord voicings or flashy techniques. Songs like Back in Black or Highway to Hell showcase his mastery of open chords, muting, and dynamic control, proving that great rhythm playing isn't about playing more, it's about playing with feel. He had an instinct for letting chords breathe at just the right moments, making the simplest riffs sound complex. Improvisation is the cornerstone of a great live guitarist. The ability to create something fresh and meaningful on the spot is probably the most important attribute of live guitar playing. Few guitarists embodied this spirit as naturally as Jerry Garcia. His solos could be delicate and melodic one moment, then burst into flurries of unpredictable notes the next, always reacting to the energy of the band and the crowd. Garcia never played the same solo twice, constantly reinventing melodies and phrasing in a way that felt organic and alive. His improvisational genius wasn't just about speed or complexity, but about creating musical conversations. His goal, in his words, was to make every live performance a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So the choice here is clear. I'd take one of the most unique guitarists of all time, Jerry Garcia. Tone is one of the most subjective and elusive aspects of guitar playing. It's not just about the gear or the settings, it's about touch, dynamics, and the way a player makes their instrument sound. And when it comes to iconic, instantly recognizable tone, few can match David Gilmour. Gilmour's tone perfectly matches the energy with which he plays, which is what makes him so great. Anyone can create guitar tone, but it takes a very special guitarist to create the perfect tone for what they're playing. David Gilmour perfectly embodies that characteristic, which lands him a spot on this list. No guitarist was more innovative than Jimi Hendrix, plain and simple. He pioneered many techniques, styles, and stage antics that would later be used by some of the greatest guitarists to ever live. Not only was he innovative in the techniques he used, but he was innovative in how he inspired guitarists culturally as well. He is a guitar hero's guitar hero, and is a significant source of inspiration for any guitarist. So even if you set aside all of his techniques and styles, he still made an impact in many other ways. It's hard to quantify an element of guitar playing like intensity, but I think most would agree that when you think about it, Stevie Ray Vaughan is one of the guitarists that come to mind. SRV always seemed like he was pushing the envelope for what he could do on the guitar when he played live on stage. He had moments of intensity that just last longer than other guitarists. For most, that moment of intensity is short and fleeting, but for SRV, it's a signature part of his playing and is an attribute I would add to the perfect guitarist. Finally, creativity. There are many creative guitarists that pioneered new techniques, styles, and stage tricks, but few revolutionized the instrument quite like Eddie Van Halen. From his custom-built guitars, to his unique tone, to his innovative tapping style, Eddie Van Halen is among the most creative guitarists to ever live. Not necessarily in his phrasing, which of course was one of a kind also, but in how he used the guitar and how he built his guitars. He just saw things through a different lens, making him perhaps the most creative guitarist to ever live, especially considering that it all happened in a post-Hendrix period. So there you have it. I have built the perfect guitarist based on who I think would be best to slot in for the essential categories of a guitarist. Are there any that you would change? I'm curious to see what I might have missed, so comment your build of the perfect guitarist below.